What's up, YouTube? Eclipsewolf Productions here. Uh, Everybody's talking about the new ban list coming out and how all those cards like Monster Reborn, Heavy Storm have been taken off, and then the obvious ones, the Baby Dragons and Judgment Day, or Spellbook of Judgment, whatever you want to call it. And I remember the format before we actually had that giant clusterfuck, if you would use that term, of just E-dragons everywhere and prophecies. Because I had a friend who played prophecies, so I mean, trust me, I knew all about what they could do. I had made for that entire format the deck profile that I did, which was the Hunter deck profile, the Watt Hunter deck. That deck evolved and changed from the one that I made. I will probably make another one sooner or later about that. But with the new format coming around, I figured the one thing I saw on the list that I liked a lot was Seal of Convocation coming to 3. And I never really needed it at 3, but I thought about it and I'm like, I can draw into it more. So I decided to come back on to Dueling Network and bring up my old Heretic deck. Now, my actual old Heretic deck is all the way up here. I put an asterisk next to all the decks that I altered for the new ban list before it came out, so I wouldn't have to sit there and look. Like, I made Shooting Quasar and Lava will still work, I guess. Photon, a really derpy deck. A deck that I'll probably... And this deck up here, Box of Tuners, I will probably do a video on that too, because that Box of Tuners is a really, really funny deck that I actually did something really mean to my friend, and I'll get into that later. But so I started, and I decided I wanted to make a new dragon deck. Now, with all my staples from my other ones, like if I pulled up that profile of Dragunities probably 3-4 days ago before the ban list was revealed, which lovely thing, 2 days after the ban list was changed, my birthday came up, so yay. By the time this video is made, it's probably like a day after, too. I guess I'm uploading it then. But so it was a nice birthday present, I guess, from Konami. The way that I decided to change the deck, I didn't really want to change the deck from what I had it beforehand. It's based off of, and I can't remember his name for the life of me. My friend showed me a video of a deck called Hieratic Dragunities, and a lot of people ran this because all it is just Dragunities with Tefnuit teched into it to get speed, which isn't bad. I liked it. It gave me something that I wanted to use. Dragons were really my favorite thing, and my friend told me that I should make the deck because I already had 3 Varianas. And I actually went and looked up the price after he told me why I should make the deck, because I already had the 3 Varianas. Because I had looked into the deck and I saw Flanix and I'm like, I don't want to pay $8 for that. I looked up the price of Variana and I saw it was like $30. It was actually $25 around the time that he told me this. I was like, now I say why he wants to make the deck. It seems reasonable at this point. But so without further ado, before I run the time up to 30 minutes, let's get into the profile, and then I'll explain later on to things. I ran 2 Watt-tail dragons, and there's a really specific reason why I ran this. Originally, the deck I ran did not run 2 Watt-tails, and I learned a lot more often that these Watt-tails come in really, really big and handy for it. because of what you can do if you have a hand that's completely dead. Like, this is the reason why I don't run Pot of Dualities or anything else, because even when people say that I don't have consistency with a deck, I actually have a fair amount of consistency with this deck. Like, the old deck that I ran, I had consistency, and I ran like 8 traps in it, and I still had consistency with it. But I run 1 Blackwing Zephyros the Elite, and that's usually to combo off with, when I get him out with 0 attack, use him to bounce him back to hand, and then I'll summon him with something else and go for game through there, because all this deck is basically a OTK deck, which I've only pulled off the OTK like 3 times, to be all honest. Run 3 Mistelaine, 3 Ducks, 3 Flanix, standard of every single other deck that probably runs the Dragonity engine. I run 3 Effect Veilers, and you can see I have 3 Maxi Side, and it's because I don't know, I haven't tried out this deck yet. I just don't know how this deck is going to run. So I just wanted to standardize it and put 3 Effect Veilers in it. And my other idea was to put 2 Breakthroughs and 2 Effect Veilers, but I kind of wanted 3 Effect Veilers to give myself a 3rd monster, because it's just another monster that I can draw into. It's another Effect Veiler that I can send from the hand instead of having to set it, which I know a lot of people are going to be setting things this format because Heavy Storm got hit, so a lot of people will start running maybe a little bit, or 1 more MST in their deck, like they'll probably run, what's the card called, Night Beam. They'll start running those. They're just going to start running Back Row Hate, probably, and that's, I watched an Infernity deck that, was subscribed to you. I was subscribed to, Slim, and he liked a Infernity deck profile, and I looked it up and everything, and he was running 3 MST and then 3 Night Beams, and I'm like, I think that's a little bit over-extenuating that, but I mean, like, they're Infernities. I guess I haven't faced against my friends' Infernities in a while, and I guess, because I've heard they were a good deck, I might try and build them. But, and then I run 3 Tefnuit, which is, again, just a standard because of that, and then Almighty Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, Red MD, just because he's amazing. And then, here's where I stray off. I run 2 Cards of Consonance, and I don't remember the card that everyone recommended that I put in, like, people would recommend me put in something else other than Cards of Consonance. And it's not, oh, well, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. I have to go back, search it up, and look it. And I'm not going to do that right now. I'll probably type it in the comments. I run 1 Dark Hole, and everybody around me was complaining, like, oh, I don't need Dark Hole anymore. Oh, Dark Hole's not that good anymore. Like, Dragons, I think, dropped it last format when they did they just didn't need it, I guess. And I'm like, thinking to myself, it's Dark Hole. It's good in any format whatsoever. It's literally broken just because you can destroy everything, and if you don't have any monsters on the field, you're not losing anything. They're losing more than you are. They're minusing. You're not gaining or losing anything except for their field being cleared, I guess. And then I run 3 Ravine because it's really good for the deck. Self-explanatory again. 2 Forbidden Chalice, and I have an explanation for these later, but I'm going to just say that I run 2 of them for now. And 3 Convocations. And the Convocations, again, I said earlier that I only ran 2 last time, and they did fine for me. I wanted to try the deck at 3, and again, I haven't really tried this deck at all. I just made it like 5 minutes ago, and it's what, like 1:53 in the morning, almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm probably going to try it out more often, and then I will probably make a response video to this, which will be another video that actually has this deck edited out. But I run 3 of the Convocations just because I want to see how that runs with just 3 Tefnuit and 3 Convocations, because I can pitch them for Ravine. If I really need to, I can just pitch them for Ravine, and it's another thing for me to pitch. And then I run 3 MST. I really feel like I just need to run 3 MSTs because Fire Fist and everything else, all of their sets, all of the cards that they're gonna set, all the cards that all the decks are gonna set, just because now Heavy Storm's not a threat. I don't feel the need to run 3 Night Beam and 3 Heavy or 3 MST like the Infernity player did, but I can see the validity in running at least more back row hate than we did last format, just because Heavy Storm's not a card anymore that we can use. And then I ran Terraforming to draw into this. This might change because I've actually noticed I don't need Terraforming as much as I thought I needed because of the way I ran the normal monster. But for now, I'm just going to run 2 Terraforming just to make sure I get that into my hand and on the field. I won 1 Breakthrough skill, and again, that's the explanation. I didn't know if I wanted to run 2 Breakthroughs or and 2 Effect Veilers or just 3 Effect Veilers and 1 Breakthrough, so I'm going to try this first. And then basically Torrential Tribute, Solemn Warning, Mirror Force, these are just staples that I ran because most of them, they're still good. Warning, like everybody else that I've heard from and I've watched videos for, they thought that Judgment really didn't need to get banned because Warning, you only had to pay 2,000. Judgment, you had to pay half. So in the sense, Judgment was more fair because you had to pay half your life points. I can understand why they might have done it because Judgment blocks a lot of stuff. But I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm just going to use a Warning. And then Torrential Tribute because it's just another Dark Hole for me that I need, just in case. Onto the extra deck, and the side deck has no real purpose except for ideas that I have, and there's another specific idea with this one, and I'll get to that later the same time I do with Wattail. Extra deck, I'm running Gyarados, 3 Varianas, a Black Rose, and an Ancient Sacred Wyvern, just in case I get those Special Summon, Normal Summon, Synchro. Colossal Fighter, because of his Special Summon loop. Scrap Dragon, I may take out and put something else in. I don't know, I'm still debating about Scrap Dragon because he still has the ability to pop things, and that's something I want to keep. Stardust, which is what the deck was originally meant to make, which is why I should run more Stardust, but I don't like running Stardust a lot. Trident Dragon, which I can make in this deck, and that's again with a little exception. I can do it in 1 turn, but it's under extreme conditions, being specific. Ptolemy M7, that's going to get hit to 1. I only ever ran 1 in this deck because it's just something I made out of the blue if I needed to bounce something back that I didn't like. 2 Thunder Chargers and 2 King of Atums. Now, getting back to what I said, because I don't know how much time we have left. Let's see. 13. Wow, I'm doing good. Ignoring that. Getting back to the Wattail Dragon. I ran Wattail Dragon, and my friend looked at me awkward about it, and I thought it was obvious. Like I honestly think that a lot of people know about this, and I guess he didn't know about it, and he thought I was weird for running it. But I showed him how I did it, and it's basically like if I open a hand with 2 Tefnuits, or if I open a hand with like 6 stars and a Dux, and I don't have a Phalanx or a Ravine or a Terraforming or anything like that, and I just have a Tefnuit in hand, and then I have another 6 star, or I have Tefnuit in hand and I have another Tefnuit. Let's just go with that play. I have a Tefnuit in hand and I have another Tefnuit. I will special summon the Tefnuit. I can then normal summon the other Tefnuit, tribute the one, and after 1 tribute, I'm going to special summon Wattail Dragon. It gets me that instant synchro or exceed play for King of Atum, which this deck, in my opinion, desperately would need a lot, because you want to go for that Atum play, or you want to go for the Ptolemy play. It's more so like, it just depends on how you want to actually play that out, but the deck, I felt needed that. But, rounding it off, that was also the same thing with, like, Galaxy Serpent. If I could do stuff like that, or if I could do something like Tefnuit, and I had a Phalanx in graveyard, tribute Tefnuit for, Mistletoe. Mistletoe special summons a Phalanx from the graveyard, and I would special summon a Galaxy Serpent. That gets me, a Trident Dragon, which isn't really that bad to have on the field, because it's 3,000 beater. I never use its effect, its first effect. It's just, I've never seen the need to use it, because I've always either made it afterwards. I've never made it beforehand. I literally just put it in this deck just because it was dragons, and I figured, oh, I could make it. I'll try and make it sometime. But I've actually never really made it in the deck. And then the last card that I was going to explain is Forbidden Chalice, and everybody would be thinking that I put Forbidden Chalice in here because I am still afraid, and that's why I put Colossal Fighter in here, and everybody's going to think I'm keeping the Forbidden Chalice Colossal Fighter for the 7-star or rank 7 threats because of that little loop when they drop Maxi, and that's not what I'm doing this for. I put this in here because a friend gave me the same exact idea, and conveniently he used it with his big eye. He was the Prophecy player that I went against, and he main decked 2 of these, and he used them to allow his big eye to attack after stealing a monster, which I don't know how. Like, I don't know. Personally, I think that's a really interesting way to use it. But I mean, it's a play, it's a move that he can do, and he did it. So I decided instead of me going through all my plays and not being able to do that, most people that play this deck know that after you go with your Atum play, after you use your first overlay on your Atum, you immediately overlay for Thunder Charger because it gives Pierce and it gives more damage. What I've actually done before instead of that is I've just given it 2,800 attack, which is 200 more than Thunder Charger, negated its effect to where it can attack again. I can keep it on the field. Next turn I can use its effect again, which I've done countless times to my friend, which he hates me for, but it's something I've noticed, like, I can do that, which is a lot more efficiently. And then Forbidden Chalice is just like I can use it on problem cards my opponent has, and it's a nice little out. And I just decided to use this over a Lance, over a Dress, or anything like that. But I mean, again, this is just a test deck. But, and then all of these I'm testing out too, but that's going to be it for this video. This is just a small video I was going to make about how I actually changed my Heretics after the ban list changed from E-Dragons being a constant deck being used to a slower format where a lot more decks are going to be used, and the fact that Convocation came back reminded me of this deck and made me want to bring this deck back again because I had all the pieces for the deck laying around. I actually have the deck sitting right in front of me. I was working on it before I actually made it on DN, and then I actually decided I was going to do a video of this at like 2 in the morning. But, so, I guess, if you want to, like the video, comment what you think would be a good idea to change in this deck, or what deck you might want to be running in here, or anything like that, or anything else. But that's going to be it for me. This has been Eclipsewolf Productions, and I will see you later.